I first had my contact with the Swazi weed when I was living in London in 1997, and I remember buying Swazi weed there and really enjoying the smoke. And after that, I didn't really have the chance to grow this plant or to see it anymore. And finally, a few years ago, me and Arjan decided, hey, Swaziland should be on top of the list for our strain hunter missions, because it's one of the most famous cannabis producing country, one of the largest producers in Africa, even though it's one of the smallest. It's a friendly country, and the cannabis that comes from Swaziland is worldwide famous. So we slowly developed this mission, and we sent Simon to scout about 4 months ago, and he spent quite an extensive period of time on the territory, on the field, with a few other guys, and prepared the mission for us. So here we are, Swaziland 2012.
Nice. Mamma mia!
That's a nice field, dude. That's a nice field.
That's beautiful green.
Yeah.
It's like a huge cross of everything.
As a connoisseur, as a strain hunter, you always rush into the fields because you want to see all the marijuana. And this time we decided to stay on the rock and have a good look from above. Also, the reason we did this is that you see a lot of different phenotypes here in Swaziland. So if you sit from a little distance away, you can very well see the field.
Look at these ones here on the right.
Yeah.
And you move over and there's a dark
And you
patch
see some
of
big buds sometimes in the mix.
Yeah.
Like you had big heads, really.
So see, the more you go outside, the more yellow it gets.
Yeah.
Let's go into it, eh?
Look at this. Completely pink.
If you want to smell to puke.
Very puke.
Here, smell this one.
Yeah, that's
Very
one plant.
sour.
Yeah?
Dude.
Ugh.
It's also
Terrible.
like almost a Malawian
What is that?
something to this plant.
Very, very beautiful plants. The field was a mixed field, sativa and skunk mixed together, or sativa and indica, but very nice and a very, very great start to the day.
Swaziland is a different picture compared to other African countries. People are very organized. There is a very easy environment compared to other parts of Southern Africa. The climate is milder, the soil is richer and very fertile.
You guys plant close, huh? Yo, yo, yo. Oh, you're pushing it, huh? Where you get
You
the
just-
genetics? You replant your own
Yeah,
seeds?
you explain where you got
I
the
collect
seeds.
it around
Yes.
from somebody.
But you take out the good seeds from the big plants? Or you just do
For
random?
next year.
Or you mix?
Yeah, we just mix.
You just mix. Very sativa.
Also has a lot of seeds, they don't pull the males here. Look, that's funny. You see?
Same system as Malawi, yeah?
Yeah. What's the reason they grow so many plants in one spot here?
Okay, it's a match just in case one dies.
Okay, they have more.
They have more.
We noticed in this second field that the technique they used to plant was very similar to what we previously saw in Malawi quite a few years ago. 10, maybe 12, maybe 15 seeds in one place, one spot, and then just made the strongest survive, basically. And this is a technique that in one way can be a saver, because there's always one or two good plants that survive the group. But on the other hand, in a place where the climate is not so extreme, such as Swaziland, we felt that the growers that select one or two plants at the time for planting are doing the better job.
Very good, guys. Beautiful field.
Beautiful buds. This is far, right? This is like getting ready.
Wow. Look at this.
Whoa, man. Skunky and sativish at the same time. Really good.
Also that's hunting blind rain, eh?
Yeah, full on. Full on.
You do really good here. Wow, this one smells particular, man.
Yeah, more sativish a bit.
So, we can say that Swaziland is the champion of Africa.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
At the moment, I have to say it's impressive what I'm seeing here, quality-wise.
And good farming, little patches, eh?
Yeah, well taken care of.
The variety of genetics was quite impressive. It was a very big mix of high-grade seeds from Europe and from America, mixed with the local Swazi genetics, probably watered down already a few generations, but it was immediately clear that this is no small game, that these people are growing great bud and they're doing it very effectively.
How are you, man?
I'm cool, man.
Huh?
I am Irie, man.
Irie.
That's the
You
fun.
see, his name is Smart.
Yeah, man.
He's doing a smart job.
Okay. So we call him Smart.
And this one is Manga. Surprise.
Manga is
Yeah,
surprise.
surprise. You see,
So we have a smart surprise here.
smart surprise.
Yes.
They're doing a wonderful
But you guys
job.
are very good growers, huh? There's not much seeds in it, huh? You guys take out the plant with the seeds?
We pull the males out, then leave the females. Yeah.
Yes.
Before they start flowering.
So you
the
grow
males.
marijuana with no seeds?
Not,
Since
yeah,
immediate,
seedless.
very
It
often.
says
Seedless.
seedless.
How long you have the seeds of this field?
I don't know, I think
2 years.
2 years.
And you know where you got them from?
the other guy comes in Joburg.
From Joburg.
Mhm.
Really good.
We had to get them up at 4 a.m. basically to get into a field really early in the morning. The reason being is that it was in a commercial pine forest, and we had to basically get there before anyone was up. So we left early, we did about a 45-minute drive, we arrived just before 5 a.m, we took a walk.
We get into the forest, and not too far away from where we leave the car, we find this amazing field. It was gigantic. It was probably the largest field we saw during this trip.
Frank, come and look at this bud, mate. You can see how beautiful it is. It's really beautiful. Look at this, mate. Look how nice it's built up. All the
Look how wide, man. This is high grade, man. Look at this. Look how wide. There's no mold, nothing. It's completely clean. Look. That's the bud of the day, guys.
Yeah. Award.
Award-winning plant. Look how high this plant is, man. Because
Amazing.
I'm 2 meters nearly. Look.
Amazing. That's
Plant's 4 meters.
Yeah.
Yo, look at that leaf. Wow, what you smell, eh, friend? It's
Fruity, this one. Much fruitier than the rest. Yeah. Beautiful.
It's a nice plant, man. I like the smell.
Yes.
Look, these seeds are good. Look, they're fine. You see? They're nice and brown. They're already healthy.
Yeah.
You keep them in a pot dry, and you can put them out when you like.
Yeah.
And then you only take the seeds from the really good plants, and you put them out.
Okay.
And you will see next year, every time you do that, in 3-4 years, you will only have this.
Yeah.
Yes. If you can control it.
Yeah.
Your patches are not too big, because here you have 1 hectare, no? This is 2,000 plants?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is big, eh?
The genetics were impressive. It was very mixed, a little bit more high grade than the previous day we saw. Less Swazi in the genetics, more foreign influence, more Amsterdam influence and California influence. And they were loaded with buds. The resin also was very, very impressive. We arrived early in the morning, so the plants were still wet, shining. And when the first rays of the sun came up on the field, it was like glittering, like diamonds in this buds. It was fantastic. Only outdoor resin can have that particular glow with the sunlight. It's something so cosmetic and so beautiful.
We also got to meet the growers living out in the bush, which was really nice. It was nice to connect with them, to gain knowledge from them, to pass a bit of the knowledge that we could across. Really soldiers living out in the bush, amazing guys, big smiles on their faces.
What are you guys eating? Can you show?
Mealy meal juice.
Mealy meal juice.
Yeah, gives lots of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you know, maize is the Swazi staple food.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many places in Africa do they eat this? Because you see it
Everywhere, eh?
everywhere.
That's
Eh?
right, yeah. That
And you eat it in the morning or you eat it during the whole day?
The whole day it keeps you going.
Yeah.
Want to try
why
some?
not? Oh, I would like to try some.
In Swaziland you taste first before giving somebody else.
Yeah.
Because you don't know, maybe there's, what do you call it, poison. Maybe I want to poison you, so I must.
You must try it. This is
I
the
must try it
tradition in
first.
Swaziland.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice. Thank you, man.
Don't use that.
We don't use.
Don't use
No sugar, eh? Very good. Don't use sugar, man. This is nice, huh? You drink the whole thing.
There's nothing combo.
You're hungry or what? John.
It was impressive to notice also the irrigation technique. They had to bring the water from over 2 kilometers away with piping, plastic piping, without the use of pumps or electricity, exclusively with gravity.
Mostly irrigation is done by hand with watering cans, and very occasionally you might find a pump. But in Swaziland, what really blew us away was the network of agricultural piping. Everywhere you go, people are very advanced in this level. Many years ago, they realized that water was essential to the equation, and you find a network of pipes feeding water by gravity to the fields. You can also see that this is basically also transferred and rubbed off and helped people in other ways. Swaziland's the first country where we also see, because of the irrigation, that there's also water to homestead. So people developed the gravity feed systems to feed their fields, and now you find basically water flowing all over the kingdom to houses as well.
And we grow this. We started long time ago because the people. It helps us to pay school fees.
Yeah.
everything that we need.
How many families in total will benefit of one field like this? This is 1 hectare with 2,000 plants roughly, no? So,
rough estimation.
Roughly,
rough
maybe we can
estimation,
say
how many
maybe,
families?
30, even 30 families, because it keeps on, you know, from
Because
one
one
place-
guy
yeah,
brings the money home, no?
Yeah. Everybody have cut his own share.
Yeah, everybody gets his own share.
Yeah.
Did somebody ever say something in the government about how big this crop is compared to other agriculture crops?
Yeah, they do say it. Because like Swaziland's also got lots of sugarcane plantations.
Or
So,
millie.
Yeah, so the motto, like when they advertise the sugar, they say Swazi gold. But people laugh and say the really Swazi gold. You know what's the
It's the
really
ganja.
Swazi
Yeah,
gold?
it's the
Yeah.
ganja, yeah.
So it's not the sugar cane, it's the ganja.
Yeah, it's not the sugar cane.
But they call the sugar cane the Swazi gold.
Yeah, they call it the Swazi gold, the government.
Yeah. So you have any idea how many people in this country are working with marijuana?
Thousands. Yeah.
Thousands of
Thousands,
people. How many
yeah.
people live in Swaziland? 1.2 million, huh?
Yeah.
Cannabis is the cash crop of Swaziland and is the only crop that can really guarantee school fees and housing and a decent living standard to basically the majority of the rural population of the country.
Next to one of the fields, they were growing a whole field, and they had all the plants in little nice pots. So we were wondering, you know, small 10-liter pots is a lot of work. You have to water maybe once, in the hot summer maybe twice a day. So we spoke to the guy, said, why you do that?
Normally you cut out the bottom and put them in the... But here not.
Yeah, the reason the bottom is not cut is when the cops come, the guys are able to take the plant and
Run.
away with it.
Undoubtedly, you would do some root damage, but you could probably save your plant if you had advance warning that the police were coming.
You see,
To hide.
the anti-drug squad, they
Yeah.
used to come here to check. They use binoculars. After checking, they don't destroy at the same time. After checking, they come maybe after 2 days. Then it gives you time to take the pods and even the whole field and move
Yes,
them,
or you can put it somewhere else.
know,
So
somewhere.
if a grower puts like this field here in the ground, you will put
Yeah.
some in bags
Yeah.
to make sure they have food
Yeah.
and money?
They cannot destroy all your crops.
No, okay, so this is partly we work
It's a
like
backup
this.
plan.
Yeah.
But this is the first backup plan I've ever seen that you can run with your
And
plants
it's
outdoor.
a
Think about that, huh?
New method.
It's a new method.
New method.
So where this method came from? Who started with this idea, running away with the plants?
The farmers, they used to think, because most of the time, I think maybe 10 years back, they used to the evil forces, they were using helicopters from South Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah, they using helicopters, they destroy everything. Then after that, they discovered that maybe they can use this thing so that they can take it
Yes.
and hide it somewhere. Unlike destroying your whole crops.
It is only after the passing of King Mswati II in 1982. The use of helicopters really has almost destroyed the economy of the people.
King Mswati II died in 1982, and that marked a change in the enforcement efforts of the government. In 2000, from 2000 to 2005 was a very, very dark period in Swazi growing history. It saw the beginning of an aerial eradication program by the US government. It involved the spraying of a product called Monsanto from the helicopters onto fields. This decimated the production at the time to a point where even local seeds become unavailable. And what villages and areas were doing at the time to make up for that was that one area would be raided by the helicopters and sprayed. They wouldn't even have seeds for the next crop, and so they would borrow from another area in Swaziland. So that is actually probably the biggest reason why, the biggest cause of the genetics disappearing was the spraying program.
Hey, and those evil forces, no more helicopters for the moment?
Yeah, they ban them because they destroy everything, even the trees. you see.
Okay.
The nursery.
The next generation. What are these, eh?
Simpson Kush.
Simpson Kush.
Simpson Kush.
Yeah.
Simpson Kush from the
American
States.
stuff.
And are the seeds legal or illegal in Swaziland?
Yeah, it's illegal because you remember that man who got arrested for like 3 kilos of seeds.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What happened to him?
Okay, what they used to do in the old days, if they get arrested and the quantity is above 3 kilos, you didn't get bail at the time. But now things have changed. Yeah,
Now
they
you
used
get
to
bail.
first weigh it.
And even the MPs, members of parliament, right now they are trying to decriminalize it, you know.
They're trying to decriminalize it in the parliament, so that's very good then. But that's maybe the first country in Africa then, because I never heard this before.
Yeah.
Even there are people living next to the king that they are smoking the ganja. They are not even being disturbed or even arrested, you know.
No.
And next to the royal crown, you know, they
Everybody
plant
planting seeds.
some few
in
plants so that they can smoke.
in the
They are
garden
good
of
for the regiments.
Yeah.
Even today, the king's scrolls, the warriors, they still smoke.
And are they also growing
And
that?
no, they are growing it, and nobody can attack them. When they start smoking in the morning, then they're praising all the kings, all the ancestors. It is such a ceremony where everybody gets really built up with great motivation for what they're going to do. Because they were ready to go and fight, they were now ready. Ready.
Simon made the planning for our trip very, very effective. We didn't waste any time. Every day we were full. We had 2-3 locations a day. So we drove on to the second field and we went for a walk, a nice walk in the forest to reach one of the most beautiful sceneries that we got in our mission. It was this field overlooking the valley, and at the bottom of the valley this huge lake and the river. It was beautiful. It was incredibly stunning.
Nice, huh?
Yeah.
Strawberry haze like this one. Yo, orangey, lemony, like tangerine.
You see the color of the plants here also?
Yeah.
Let's go have a look at that little plant there.
This is a thick one, man. Production, mama. Wow, full of resin.
Wow, you see how hard this one is?
Yeah. Although it's quite...
It has the same look as the leaf structure of this Iron's Haze tree.
yeah, it's
short
also in the
plant.
smell woody and a bit spicy. Not so special, I have to say, in the smell.
No, nothing special, but look at these
But the
leaves.
production is
See the
beautiful.
leaves, how slim?
Man, this is more interesting smell than this little one.
Yeah.
Phew. Spicy.
Look
Wow,
here, this
man.
comes close to strawberry.
Man,
Man, can you smell
woody.
this one, Frank? Same structure.
Hey man, there's a lot of genetics in this country. I'm surprised. I didn't expect so much variety of stuff in Swaziland, honestly. It's really special.
Walking up to the field, we found a couple of drying spots where the local guys were manicuring and taking care of the dry material. It was very cool to see. On the way back, we stop and have this really relaxed moment, this joint moment on a rock overlooking this beautiful panorama. And we had a very interesting conversation with Russ, one of our guides, and with one of the local growers. Again, confirmation of the fact that cannabis is one of the plants that help the poorest people on the planet live above the poverty line. He confirmed again to us that without the major cash crop, this country would really be in trouble, and the people would not be able to send the children to school and to live on a decent level.
What types of marijuana grow best? What types of skunk? Like white widow or haze, or a little bit strange that you try?
We can grow any because we're not novice.
You can grow any strains.
And our climate is okay.
So when you start in summer, what time you start to plant? Is it September or October?
Just depend on your seeds, on the quality of seeds that you have.
Really?
So where do you get your seeds from?
We just ask from neighbors and friends.
From the neighbors, you share the seeds?
Yes.
So, but when you say it depends on the seeds, so if you had the Swazi seeds, when do you plant the Swazi seeds?
October, November.
And the new seeds, these new cross indica?
Anytime.
Anytime?
Anytime.
So it's
Even
indica
later,
seeds.
so you can plant November, January.
And the original Swazi you only can plant, so you say November, December, and when or October even.
Yes.
And when would you harvest?
April.
April. So it's October, April plant.
Yes.
That's the original Swazi. You still grow it or not?
The Swazi?
Yeah.
No. We don't have any more pure Swazi here. It's a cross.
It's a cross. But all over Swaziland or this area?
This area we don't have Swazi anymore.
This area.
No.
But you know that there is still places where they grow the real Swazi, or
There's another guy who told me about that, but I don't believe that.
You don't believe it? In this area?
No, in this area we don't have Swazi.
But you also don't believe it's in an area still there?
No, I don't believe. Not unless I can see the seeds and I can plant it.
How many families are involved with ganja in Swaziland?
Everyone.
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 How long are they growing in this area?
It's like been grown since the beginning. Especially with the Swazi people, it's been a traditional culture to smoke ganja before the arrival of the colonists.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a very long time ago.
That's
We're talking about a few hundred years ago.
From the beginning.
In these areas, there's evidence of people, of Bantu people even earlier. Hey?
That's right.
Yeah.
We're referring to some people, like the Khoisan, Khoi and the San.
Yeah.
And later on, there were the Sudi people.
How did people smoke in those days?
Those days they used like horns.
Horn?
Yeah, horn.
A horn from
an
animal.
Horn.
Yeah.
There's a bong, there's a pipe, like a bong.
That's how they smoke.
That's how they smoke.
And they still do that in some areas or not?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
We've got the influence with the Western culture, because they've got the razors and peppers, something like that.
Yeah.
Rizza's taken over. And
Rusland taking over the old
so
horns.
it's gone.
But also in Swaziland, you only get a fine when you get arrested. Eh?
Yeah, definitely.
Nobody go to jail. You can bail yourself out if you have money. So that's good from the government. The government understand that you guys depend on this crop.
Yeah.
This is a game,
Again, it's a game.
It's just a game, yeah.
Our law, our constitution is wonderful. We have two laws in Swaziland on cannabis. One is a 1922 Act, which is called the Opium and Habit-Forming Drugs, and that act defines cannabis as a habit-forming drug. This law on cannabis was made by Britain under the instigation of cotton farmers in Egypt.
Cotton farmers in Egypt.
Who didn't want to.
Afraid of hemp.
We were afraid of hemp.
When was this?
1922.
Okay, so it has an economic reason that the law is implemented in 1921-22 in Swaziland.
That's correct. It's a reason. The reason was that the cotton farmers in Egypt
to protect them
wanted to protect themselves from cannabis. So they said, okay, let's pass this law for the whole British Empire, so that no country under the British Empire can compete with our cotton. There is another section 20 of the Constitution, which says that a law that has been enacted because of discrimination, no parliament is competent to pass a law like that. So any law that brings about discrimination.
It's
like this law.
unconstitutional to
It's
discriminate
unconstitutional.
in any way.
So in Swaziland, it's null and void. So all we have to do when we go to court, we're just going to ask the court to confirm that this law, in fact, does not exist in this country because of our constitution. And that is what we have to do.
So there's such a strong, powerful plant here that has all this cultural history. Is this also what you're bringing into the court case to fight the old colonial law? Like this plant is so important, it has cultural valuables, and it should be legalized here in Swaziland.
That is one of the reasons, in fact,
yes,
which I am going to put forward. But the major one, which the courts will understand, because I mean they don't care about our traditional religion.
No,
they don't care. If I bring it, say, in Swaziland that we need to have this stuff because of our cultural requirements, they would just look at me and say, hey, he's crazy. There are many people who say that we are 100% behind you, 99% of the people of Swaziland are supporting you.
Yes.
But nobody is prepared to come out in the open and say, look, we are together. Let's go to court. Or let's go to there. Let's do that. Even the growers themselves. Yes. I've asked the growers and said, look here. I said to them, look here. Anyone who gets arrested because of being in possession of cannabis, he must phone me immediately. I'll go to court and represent him free of charge.
Yes.
I mean, I'll give evidence because I'm not a lawyer by profession, but I can give evidence in court.
Yes.
They just don't want. They all run away. There is no way we can fail in court to abolish the cannabis laws because they are totally against human rights and they are illegal in themselves.
Dr. Ben Dlamini is a very well-known Swazi activist for marijuana. He spent many years working tirelessly towards the cause. There's a deliberate attempt by the media in Swaziland to portray him as a bit of a crazy old man, but when you spend just 5 minutes with him, you realize that he's just a wealth of information.
The day we have cannabis freed in Swaziland, everybody in this country will become a millionaire. Not just the very few who are bold to grow cannabis in the bush, but if we are growing it right in the public, everyone will be a millionaire.
We headed north of the Magugu Dam and we connected with a Rastafarian called Skoro, who's a carver, a wood carver. He knew a number of growers in the area and connected us with them.
We went to his house and we looked at him performing this fine craftsmanship. It's art that is probably getting lost, and it's beautiful to see how people can, just using a simple knife, they can make something so beautiful. It's truly an art.
In my carving, this is my main tool. I use it when I start my carving.
Yes.
So I use this one to do the whole face and the whole thing. I start with this one.
Okay.
And then after this one, just use the knife.
Okay.
Wow. To make it smooth, it's only to use the knife, and all the shapes, we just make you use the knife, and then after the knife, you just get a sanding paper.
Very nice Rastafarian man, beautiful wood statues and objects. And this guy took us up to his place and then walked us down to a beautiful field. On the walk we stopped by a school, hundreds of children in their uniforms, very typical African school, and they were all looking at us like they never saw a white person before or something. But it was really nice to see how the children there are very joyful, very welcoming. They're not afraid of strangers. They're very innocent, more innocent than developed countries' children.
Sativa girls.
The terrain was again different from what we'd experienced before, and immediately we could see that it was a really sativa dominant field and very, very Swazi.
Look how big they are, eh? But you see, he's got two fields separate. He's got the Swazi field and he's got like this mixed little kind of high grade, what they call it here.
Even that side is more Swazi than stuff.
Yeah, but you can see how his good stuff is diluted again by the local stuff. Eh?
Absolutely.
This is nearly 3 meters, guys.
Yeah, there you have 5 meters right there.
But it comes close to the Malawi, eh?
Okay.
Eh?
Yeah, very, very close in the structure, absolutely.
And look how many times they've pinched this one here. Look at this, man.
Yeah, super mega pinching.
I've never seen so many pinched.
Well, they do it because they want to keep them bushier than normally
would
be. Because otherwise, if it really shoots up like in the real structure, you see what happens there. Go 5 meters this thing.
Yeah, but you see how many. Yeah. So you think it's also a way of stopping the growth?
Absolutely.
Yeah, 2 weeks they stop, eh?
Absolutely.
We knew immediately in the moment we walked between the first plants that we were onto something closer to what we are looking for in this country. The real Swaziland genetics, the one that was really the goal and the purpose of this mission to recover. It was not really 100%. We are quite sure that there was still some influence from outside genetics, but definitely the structure of the plants and the type and the smell and the way they looked, and it was definitely closer to the real Swazi genetic.
So what we have here, this is...
Well, they've gone a bit further than normal tipping. They've actually split the stem physically and twisted it.
Yeah.
To attempt to basically, this is used to lower the profile of the plant, and they believe it.
This is what you guys do here to hide it better?
Yeah.
And you put a rock on the branch sometimes to hold it down?
No, you can't put a rock. Just once you split it, and then you just come on top of it like this.
Oh, you step on it?
Yeah, you step on it.
Hey, and you let it grow also in other plants to hide it better around your house, is what you say?
Camouflage mixed with other...
for camouflage, to make it lower.
Yeah, it's for camouflage, like people when they coming never not discover easily.
The growers split the plant at the 3rd, 4th internode, and then they split it a second time. So they create very bushy plants, very strong, solid branching, and they have to do this because the genetic is closer to the Swazi. So if they don't do it, the plants shoot up 6, 7, 8 meters, and that is really not an effective way to grow because they would break in the storms with the wind. So very flexible and very smart growers in this country.
On the way we see little fields with all kinds of vegetables and pumpkins and everything. And he's explaining us that sometimes they have to stay for a while in those mountains here.
The guys, they plow the pumpkins here so that when the time for harvest, so they get the food here, they just get the pumpkin here, and then sometimes they grab the leaves, but the top of the leaves, while the top of the leaves they are fresh, so they get the leaves and then they mix with the pumpkin. Sometimes they put meal or they put oil and
meal.
Yeah, meal.
Okay.
Like do something like pop. Yeah.
So in time of harvest you have food on the side.
Oh, already had food on that side, so that while it's hard to get back at home, so it's easy to plow food here and get everything right at the fields.
Very efficient.
Yeah.
It was very interesting to see how the guys there, the local growers, they use the hot rocks to dry their cannabis. So the rock is exposed to the sun the whole day. It gets extremely hot by the first hours of the afternoon. And then at the end of the day, the guys bring their wet buds and they just lay them on the rocks and dry them there. And they told us that way they can manage to dry a crop in 2 to 3 days. So very effective for them. And then we went on, we walked down to the waterfall. Along the side of the waterfall, down steep rocks, and we reached the bottom. There was a pool and a beautiful fall. And we jumped in, Aryan and myself. We had a very refreshing session after the long day. And it's always a magic moment during the Strain Hunters expeditions when we can find one of these beautiful pools in the middle of nowhere and just chill out for 10 minutes, 15 minutes in the water and just refresh our bodies, refresh our spirit, our minds, and go on like new again. We went and took the nicest walk of the whole trip along these river banks. Beautiful scenery, the big rocks, the water clean and fresh, and we walked up looking for this great field that we were supposed to find. Once we arrive at the field, our hearts fill up with joy because we knew immediately that we did it, that we found the original Swazi.
The real Swazi. This is it. This is it. Mild, woody.
Not many seeds in it, they pull the males here, eh?
Yeah, for sure.
A little woody, eh?
A little woody, a little spicy, but mild, not very intense.
No. Slim buds.
Also in this real Swazi field, original Swazi field, we noticed that most of the big plants were already harvested. So what was left there was actually the later part of the crop, and the ones that were planted a little bit delayed, but it was astonishing quality. It was incredible to see the same plants that we already saw in the scouting footage that Simon and Dave produced for us.
But you think people are going to be happy with landrace Swazi if we look at this like this?
Yeah, I mean, the old school smokers love the Swazi, the original. Yeah,
We should take some seeds of these ones, eh?
absolutely. Especially the people that smokes from the 70s that have this kind of weed in their culture when they were young. They still appreciate it a lot. Really.
Look, the sativa seeds, the small black seeds.
Yeah.
A male and a female.
Male and a female.
I spoke to them.
Yes.
The field was quite big. The plants were very lanky, skinny, long sativas, the same type of sativas that we found in Malawi previously. Different in the smell, I would say more minty, more spicy, a little bit more mellow, less intense. It's a kind of weed that doesn't have that overpowering intensity in the smell. Nevertheless, it's very complex, and it's really the type of sativa that the old school smoker and the old school connoisseurs can appreciate.
It's spicy.
Yeah, it is a little.
Huh?
Not much bud, but a lot of
plants
flavor.
again. You see that? They're just growing each other.
Yeah.
You see that cut, cuts and cut and cut.
So original Swazi.
Ooh, again a little bit soapy. That's soapy fino.
Yeah. Yeah.
Strange, eh?
Yeah, very strange.
But still relatively very low bud, eh?
Yeah, very low bud.
Very low bud.
But the structure is better than the Malawi. The Malawi were more tower, and these make far more branches.
But it's also close to the river. You see how these plants adapt with all these little buds for fungus and everything.
Yeah.
But very uniform, this Swazi here.
Absolutely. This is the real Swazi, no doubt.
Yeah.
Also, another thing that we noticed in this field was that the presence of animals. There were a lot of caterpillars and quite a lot of grasshoppers and parasites. But this is normal, considering the organic conditions in which the plants grow, and considering that the local growers don't really use any pest control. It's just natural, 100% organic, natural production. So it's part of the game of nature.
Yeah, lots of water, well organized
Yeah,
watering,
yeah.
pipes and everything.
Also going gravity here from the top.
No
eh?
pumps, no electricity, completely green. It's incredible.
And how far does it go up in this valley?
When you look on Google Earth, it's just dotted there. It's insane.
Is that all the dots we saw on Google Earth? That you see all those valleys?
And all these valleys and all the next valleys and on and on and on.
Doesn't stop. It's like a green avalanche, like California.
It doesn't stop.
Basically, wherever there's water.
Yeah, wherever there's water.
Fabulous. Wow, this makes the mission a complete success, I have to say.
Original landrace, Swazi gold.
Finally.
In the morning, we find the local Sangorma woman here in the little village, the medicine woman, and we did a little session with her.
It's a local shaman. It's a woman who has magic powers, black magic, white magic, and she's able to mix potions and medicines, local medicine, natural medicines.
Five minutes. We wait for you here.
Did you hear this?
He's going to translate for us? Yes.
Did you hear who's taking us? Did you just hear
The
what
teacher.
went down? The teacher is going to the school to report to the school that
That
it's
he is gonna
unavailable.
take us
And
down.
The teacher is taking us to the
Teacher
wheat
is taken to the wheat field.
government teacher.
I told you before the beginning of the first day, this country is great, son.
This country is fantastic.
You know?
They know, they acknowledge that
Everybody-
wheat is history here. It's part
of
of
the
the
culture. Part of the
and that's
culture.
it.
To actually look at this issue, to look at how much money is coming. So you can do social surveys where you get some volunteers and you send them around with like a 40-page questionnaire. What's your roof made out of? Do you have a radio? Do you have a TV? Do you have access to drinking water? How many times do the children get sick? Where does your money come from? And if you do that anonymously, you could really get a picture of a real scientific picture. We'd be able to show, you know, that how like 80% of this country's GDP is weed.
'This is looking really good from here. Yo, there's big trees up there. There's big trees up there. This is looking lovely from here, man.
Smell, eh?
Yeah. Incredible.
Wow, smells very sweet, Frank.
Really incredible. Nice healthy plants.
Looks like a Christmas tree, eh? Yeah, nice build up.
This is not real Swazi like we saw yesterday, not at all.
No.
But that's a sativa.
But look the one next to it here. You see?
Yeah.
Here you have Swazi.
Yeah, more towards, yeah, for sure. Wow.
Intense smell, huh?
Yeah, spicy, very sativa-ish.
Look at the soil, eh?
Beautiful. Yeah, rich, huh? Wow. Rich stuff.
This was definitely a place of crosses again. More indica based, very, very, very beautiful plants in a very narrow valley. I was a bit worried about the light in that situation, but the plants looked beautiful.
It's good to have these seeds because one, they are ready in a short period of time.
Sure.
Yes.
Other than the Swazi seed, whereby it's 4 to 5 months, then you harvest. Here it's some weeks.
And you don't have a problem with the rain with these when there's too much rain, like that it turns black?
Yeah, it rot.
Rot,
yeah. When it's too much rain, it's rot.
Yeah, compared to Swazi?
Yeah, the Swazi doesn't.
No.
Yeah.
So in the end, maybe the best is the mix between the Swazi and these high-grade genetics.
Yeah.
Because then you have good plants that are adapted to the local place, but also bigger heads.
How much do they charge you for seeds?
It's mesh box.
Estimation, yeah, mesh box.
It's 3,000 rand. The mesh box.
A matchbox.
A match
3,000
box.
rand.
Wow.
How many people depend in Swaziland on the economy of this plant? How many school fees are paid or food is bought? Do you have any idea?
Hey, they are many.
Many.
But the problem is it's illegal.
Yes.
So they are hiding.
Sure.
Yes.
Even people who are in high position,
Yes.
they depend on this.
Yes.
But they are afraid. They are hiding this.
Mm.
They do it private.
Yes.
But we are talking like a major significant part of the national GDP of the
Yeah.
no?
All in all, financially, these three, it boosts the economy of the country.
This plant helps a lot of people.
Yeah.
School fees, food, everything.
Yeah.
Paying door.
Paint the door, school fees, food. What do you think? Is there many people in favor of making this plant legal in Swaziland? Or is it better for the growers to be illegal because the whole family depend on it? What do you think?
I personally, this is my view. It's good when it's illegal.
Yes.
Why? Simply because if we say that let us legalize this crop, then everyone will cultivate it. Then the price
will go down.
Its value
Yes.
will degrade.
Yes.
So in that way, for one, I can say it's good.
For the benefit of the local community.
For the local community, it's very important that it stays illegal.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's very, very important to remain illegal.
The guy is a elementary school teacher and a very respected person in the community, very knowledgeable person. One more time he enforced the point, the conviction that cannabis is illegal in this country, but this is not entirely negative for the local people. He made us understand how one more time here, like in Malawi, like in many other countries on the planet, the fact that cannabis is illegal is the only guarantee for people to live above the poverty line. If cannabis would be legalized in a country like Swaziland, then major corporations, agricultural corporations, could easily take over the production business, and in the end the poor people, the local rural communities that now benefit and survive thanks to the cannabis crop, would have no chance.
So basically we should start a campaign not to legalize marijuana. Hey? And everybody declares us for crazy. What do you think about that idea?
On a spiritual level, I can't say that I agree. It's only an purely an economical thing.
But if so many people are depending on...
Yeah, but it's still not right. You know inside yourself when you spark up a joint that it should not be illegal.
No.
You know it in your heart.
As usual on that day we ran out of time because the fields just are so beautiful and we ended up talking to growers for hours. So we left very, very late, which was a bit of a logistical problem because we had to get to a community camp called Ngwempisi, a very, very cool community project which the EU funded in 2002, and it's basically a hiking and horse trail. But the access to the camp is hectic and we really needed to do it in the day. Unfortunately, to make matters worse, we got a second puncture.
The descent to the camp, it was an extreme 4x4 part of the road. We saw immediately that it didn't even look like a road anymore, just like a bunch of flat rocks going down the mountain.
It took us like 2 hours to get over those rocks into the dark, into this amazing camp.
So when we arrived at the cave, it was actually so dark that we didn't even have a chance to look at the view and realize exactly where this place was located. But then as we woke up in the morning with the first light of the day, the view was amazing. We were like on top of this mountain with this huge valley and this river in the background. And with the first rays of the sun, we smoked a joint on top of the rocks there. It was like a very inspirational moment.
We arrived, we took a fairly short walk up and we found this incredible field of really, really high grade, what they call high grade indica based genetics.
Wow, man, this is a high grade field. Wow, dude, short, nice stuff.
You see that?
And dark green, eh?
Indica size plants, eh?
Indica size and real buds.
Hey, Tumani!
Tumisa, how are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
Good to meet you, man.
Sure.
Nice one.
Oh.
Sharp.
Sharp.
Really nice plants you have to meet, huh?
This is a big head, eh?
Yeah.
This is a serious genetic here, man.
Is this the kind of quality you grow normally here?
Yes.
How many years have you been growing this high grade?
I think it's 2.
2 years.
Growing cross, yeah.
Crossing. And before you grew the Swazi?
No, I never.
Never. Only this high grade.
Yeah.
You get much more value for these plants here? Are they worth more than the Swazi, than the local?
Yes, they are worth more than
yes,
the Swazi, yeah. Because this one, a kilo, you get 4,000.
4,000 rand for a kilo.
Yeah.
That's the price here.
While the Swazi is 500 or 200, I don't
500. So it's like 8 times more.
Yes.
So it's helping the community a lot, probably, no?
Sure.
Incredible.
Oh, yeah. Last day of Swaziland, this is what we found.
Yeah, that's a beautiful leaf.
The grower was very organized. He had under control the watering, he had under control the planting, he even prepared beds for the young plants. And we saw that he put a lot of dedication to his cash crop.
He'd also had really, really good spacing, so he went for the concept of instead of filling his field, he really spaced the plants well and basically explained to us that he plants late in order that the plants don't get too big. He finds that big plants in Swaziland need a lot of food, he explained to us, and that they get hit by the wind. So he actually found that it was better to grow shorter plants later in the season. What was also really, really interesting was that there were no seeds. This was the complete Sensimelia crop.
No? It's got some skunkiness in it more.
Yeah, but there's also some cushiness. It more to the PP1 variety.
Yeah.
Man, but look at the crystal on this thing.
It's a merry crystal.
Hold it in the sun.
It's amazing.
Look, sticky.
Yeah.
Puff.
Full of resin.
You could see that the traits and the buds were really extremely big and high grade and full of resin, and it was absolutely the best plants that we saw during the whole trip. This is beautiful. These are the best plants we found in Swaziland, even though it's not Swazi weed, but this is the best.
How's that one?
Man, it's incredible. A little strawberry, a little woody, a little... Oh.
Yeah, this is a nice one. Shh. This is a nice one.
This is a nice plant.
This is a nice one.
A bit more sativa in the leaf.
Look, but this one has also much more resin.
More resin, dude. Like,
wow. Intense. We found the golden field at the end. It's incredible.
Look at that.
Man,
it's good to see that. You see that the Swazi planters are getting so good in growing.
Yeah.
They're evaluating with their seeds.
Evolution, man.
Evolution with their seeds, that they accomplishing 10 times more money to get school fees and everything and food and paint the door, as they say here.
Paint the door, yeah.
Paint the door. I'm gonna remember that one.
Same.
Let's see your high grade.
Damn, dude.
It's organic outdoor potting, guys. Realize what you see here. Organically grown outdoor marijuana.
High grade, perfectly manicured.
This is how the pot in Holland should be, you know, in the coffee shops. This kind of quality, you know, no fertilizer, no spray, nothing.
Africa will only be free the day every African nation can grow its cannabis and produce all the things that they can produce. Oil, food, clothing, medicine, everything.